Alright guys, we got the 43rd hired request today for 2014. And it is Rachmaninoff. It's his piano prelude in C sharp minor. Famous piano work. I'm sure you've heard it. But it is for ShawnCheek.com, not WebPianoTeacher.com. WebPianoTeacher is my other website for popular music by ear. This is ShawnCheek.com, my sight reading site, which also has lots of classical lessons on it. So we're going to do that today. Let me squeeze in here and we'll see what we have for today. I believe, if memory serves, that Sergei wrote this when he was 15 years old. Amazing. But we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So forth. Hello, I'm Shawn Cheek. Welcome to my piano lessons for ShawnCheek.com. I always put the free part 1 on YouTube, and the rest of the lessons for this piece, as well as many other classical lessons, sight reading lessons. I also have Scott Joplin ragtime lessons on there, and some other things that I've wrote. So if you want to learn how to read music notation, that's my site for doing that. ShawnCheek.com. ShawnCheek.com. And let's get started here with this. Again, unbelievable that Rachmaninoff wrote this when he was 15 years old. And I believe, if memory serves, he had to play it at every concert, even though this is, not one of his more advanced works. It was like, his #1 hit, if you want to call it that. And the crowd always wanted him to play this. So he played it for encores and so forth. But he always did it graciously. He never, got sick of it. I got to play the Prelude in C sharp minor again. He was a very gracious man. And a great piece of music here. I just love it. It just reminds me of Frankenstein for some reason. Especially the beginning. But let's get started with the free part 1 here. We have 4 sharps, okay? F, C, G, and D. I'm going to assume you can read music some already, okay? If you can't, you need my beginner sight reading lesson series on ShawnCheek.com, and then we can move up and graduate to things like this. But I'm going to assume you can read music a little bit already. F, C, G, D are our sharps. And we're not in the key of E, we're in the key of C sharp minor. So if you remember your C sharp minor scale, A, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, C, B sharp, and then C sharp, okay? Might want to play that scale a little bit to get yourself familiar again, but you don't have to. You don't have to do scales and chords to play. They help out, but... Okay, so we're going to start with an A in the right hand, and it's below middle C, and the left hand has an A octave, so that's going to be way down here. Okay, so you have an A on the thumb. This may be off the video, but I'm just playing an octave with an A here. Okay, A, and then of course if you're on the site, you can download the PDF for this. Okay, so just download the PDF file for the music, and you can not have to just look on here. You'll have your own score to go off of. A, G sharp, then I'm going to go down to C sharp. This is a C sharp down here. Okay. Now I don't like writing in all the notes. Some people do that all the time, but when it's a really low ledger line like that, you can write it in. I mean, who's going to know that one that low? But it's a C sharp. Left hand also is doing a C sharp octave. Okay, and we're going slow, lento. You really have to consider what speed you want to go in here. Bum, bum, bum. So that's the speed. And 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And see all the counting I had to do there? And you have to count it or you won't make it last long enough, okay? And you want to stay down on the C sharp. Don't come up here and be getting ready for this, because mentally we have to stay on this thought. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1, and then come up, okay? Stay down there so that your listeners that are watching are staying with you on that musical thought, and we're not, oh, waiting for this chord here, okay? Stay down there. And it is fortissimo, so you can play it loud. You should play it loud. All right, after we count it out and we're holding, keep your fingers on the keys. Don't lift them up and put them in your lap while you're counting. Keep them there. Stay focused on that C sharp. And then we'll come up and do this. Now let me help you get this, because this, you have some hand crossing in here. You have, your thumbs are crossed. You say, well, why did you do that? Why don't you just write it like that? Because you voice it differently if you put the octaves in the hands. It just sounds different. You have a weight on your hand differently if you play it this way, the way Rachmaninoff wrote it, okay? So that's why he does that, for the not to show a trick or anything, or show off that you can cross your thumbs, but because of the voicing, the relative strengths of each individual note are different when you cross your thumbs that way. Alright, the first chord is a C sharp minor chord. So why do we need to know that? Because it'll help us know what notes to play and what notes to leave out, what letters. Okay, so everything in this chord here will be either a C sharp, an E, or a G sharp. Okay, C sharp minor. So everything in that chord will be one of those three notes, C sharp, E, or G sharp. And in the right hand we have C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, an octave and a fifth. Okay, and I'm just going to do 1, 2, 5 on that. Now on the left hand we have E, G sharp, and E. And I'm crossing my right hand thumb over my left. See? So that's a C sharp minor. It helps to know what chord it is because it helps you have a roadmap for where you are. Alright, so there's the first chord. Bum, bum. Here's the next one. It's an E chord, okay? It's a major 3 chord in the key of C sharp minor. E, G sharp, B. Every note in that chord will either be an E, a G sharp, or a B. So let's do it. E, B, E in the right hand. I'm going to use 1, 3, 5. In the left hand I have G sharp, B, and G sharp. There's my left hand thumb crosses over. Okay, so that's the second chord. So what you need to do is practice going from the first chord to the second one. Bum, bum. Try to voice that soprano note. Try to bring out that pinky note. And here's the third one. Now this one will throw people. I hear it as an E flat chord when I play it. The correct way to call it is a D sharp major chord, which is kind of weird, but let's look at it. D sharp, A sharp, and D sharp. See that? So you see why it looks like I hear it as an E flat chord when I hear it in my brain? Okay, but that's what the chord is. In my mind, I think of it as E flat, but D sharp, A sharp, D sharp is the chord. Left hand, F double sharp, okay? So that's the same thing as playing a G natural, is an F double sharp. And then we have an A sharp, which is like playing a B flat. I'm going to do that with a middle finger. And we have an F double sharp on the thumb. Excuse me. Okay? So, see how it feels like an E flat chord? G, B flat, G, E flat, B flat, E flat. Anyway, those are the keys you need to press down, however you want to think of it. That's the third one. Now practice connecting those three. Isn't that cool? Oh, sorry. I'm in an awkward position here. Okay. Really, an even better finger would be to use a 4 on that soprano note, and then a 5 on the E, and then a 4 on the D sharp, because then it allows for a complete legato playing. You see? But you can use pinky on all of them if you need to. Alright, I'm not going to connect at the beginning because it's so much counting. We've already belabored that. So, 1, and 2, and... Practice those 3 chords. Don't move on until you can go from one to the next without having to sweat, okay? Now, the next chord is going to involve 2 things. It involves a whole beat, but it involves 2 things going on. You have this, and then this. Okay? The name of the chord is D7, D, F sharp, A, C. Every note in the chord will either be a D, an F sharp, an A, or a C. That should help you. The octave we're going to play first is A in the right hand, A octave in the left hand. Then I'm going to come up and do this, which is D, A, D, 1, 3, 5. Left hand, I'm going to do F sharp. Now that is a C sharp. I mean a B sharp. Same thing as playing a C natural. So B sharp and then an F sharp. Okay, so to me it sounds like a, well, I call it a D7. It may be theoretically called something else, but for us we're just going to call it a D7 to help us know what the chord is. Okay, so you need to practice this. You need to be able to move from one to the next. So practice that. Okay? Now let's tie it together. Let's start here and try to make it to there. You can even do this. You can play the C sharp. Even though the C sharp is tied from over here, you could play it just to give yourself, to practice the leap. Okay? Even though you're not going to play this, for practice purposes, you can play it right here just to help you, so you're not counting that out all day. Here's the next chord. Now, I hear it as a A flat 7, but theoretically we're going to call it a G sharp 7. Okay, G sharp major 7, or just a G sharp dominant 7, sorry. So we're going to play a G sharp in the right, a G sharp octave in the left. That's our bass note. Then we're going to come up here and do this over the top of it. So in the right hand we have B sharp, which is the same thing as playing a C, F sharp, and then a B sharp on the top. So we have, C, F sharp, C, but it's really B sharp, F sharp, B sharp. Left hand we have D sharp, F sharp, and D sharp. The F was sharp because this one was here. Okay, it was F double sharp right there, so now it's just F sharp. Anyway, you can get frustrated if you're not a good reader, but that's why I'm here to help you read it. So practice going. And that's really what my lessons are all about. They're for people to learn the basics of sight reading, but also for those of you who can play and who have an ear and who have the ability physically to play these things, but are so frustrated with your reading that it's preventing you from learning the music that you love. So that's why I'm here, to bridge that little gap for you. Or big gap. Sometimes it's a big gap, isn't it? Alright, let's go from here. And go 1. See that? That's how you play that part. You need to practice from one chord to the next. It's not enough just to be able to find the keys and then play them. You need to be able to get from one to the next one, to the next one. That's the key. So practice from one to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, without hunting and pecking, hunting and finding. We don't want to hunt and search. We want to just go right to the key. And that's what you need to have in mind when you're practicing this. Okay? So that's the free part 1. We will go over every measure in detail like we did just this. So lots of good stuff in this lesson series for this great prelude. And I'll help you through the whole thing. So get on ShawnCheek.com, get a membership. I'm running a special still that has worked so well for this site. It's a year membership for half price. Normally a year membership on ShawnCheek.com is $200. But I've been giving it away for $99, half price, for a year. If you'd like that deal, just send me an email to easypianolessons@yahoo.com. EASYPIANOLESSONS. And see if we can get you in on that deal still. It's been going so well, I've never ended it. Alright, lesson 2 and all subsequent lessons for this piece, as well as many other things, on ShawnCheek.com right now. I'll talk to you guys later.